What's up, Alphas? It's your boy Alphas May. HIM. Don't forget the exclamation point. And we're here for another House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 8. As you see, Team Black is being ripped right now by I got Jedi Mike. We're talking about the season finale. Episode 8 of Season 2. House of the Dragon, the Queen.
A lot of book
ever
departures,
was.
yo.
A lot of book departures, which we're going to get into, which is intriguing.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I have a whole list for this. Glad he started off with it, but yes.
Now, one thing I do want, let's let everybody introduce themselves, and then we're going to get started because I know everybody excited. I know it's a very controversial episode for a reason that people felt like it shouldn't have been. But we're going first. Tell her about yourself, Miss Lovely, Miss Ebony Moonbeam.
Hey, everybody. I'm your girl, Ebony Moonbeam. You can find me at Ebony_Moonbeam on all social media platforms. I'm a cosplayer. I'm a huge blurred. And I am also 1/3 co-host of the female blurred-led podcast, Waifu Views, that airs Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, where we give you everything fandom with a side of beautiful waifus, of course. You can find us at Waifu Views on all social media platforms. You can also find me on Wednesdays at the Blurred Cartels Roundtable, where there's always a lot of blurred nonsense going on. And then right after that on this particular channel for casual conversations with AfroComic765 and Zelme, where you already know I'm kind of a debaucherous whore, and this week will be no different. So be sure to check that out. Stop giggling in the background, creep.
We got our own dragon, fire breather.
You already know. Your local neighborhood dirtbag. You can post today. We know the dirtbag, same gimmick, different day. Ready to talk dragons and whatnot. You know the vibes.
And shout out to our professional, Mr. Jedi Mike himself. How you doing today?
What are we, chopped liver?
You just my
that nigga don't fuck with us.
That's right, he was like the professional. Now that we've gotten the degenerates out of the way.
No, listen. Hey, no, he said it, not me. I know. I'm just
we
happy to be here.
you.
Anyway,
hey
everybody.
With dragon in
Yes, everybody. I'm named Mike Jedi Mike 7. You follow me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter at Jedi Mike 7. I also a film critic, part of the African American Film Critic Association here in DC, and I do a lot of interviews with press. And I just covered San Diego Comic-Con last week, and I got more content to drop for that. But also, you find me on other platforms such as Team JVS, Big Gold Belt Media, and others. So, but yeah, make sure you subscribe.
You're gonna subscribe to Jedi Mike 7. You see it under his name. I'm excited. He got some great things coming. I'm looking forward to it. But to my favorite people, my dragon down below, the lovely Miss Ash. I want to talk about this.
Don't try and glaze now, nigga.
Right.
You done killed the mood. I was here ready to wax poetic about this final episode, and you just fucked it all up. What do you want to talk about?
The beauty. Let's talk about the beauty in the writing of the little girl who lived on her own means, ended up living by duty, and the little girl who lived by duty and ended up wanting to run away and live by her own means. We're talking about Allison and Rhaenyra and how the roles switched at the end.
The meeting that never fucking happened.
In the books.
Yes, but I'm listen. The meeting did not work out. But we'll get there.
Yeah, that's just wait.
Yeah, they ready to talk about the departures from the book.
R.I.P. Nettles. We're not gonna get named.
No. See, you already said it. All right, he already said it, so I'm gonna say it. Listen, there's too many black. Listen, there are a lot of black people on this damn show. I'm loving it. I mean, I love the more black men and women on dragons, the better. But this show's like, hey, you know what? We have more black characters in the books, but instead of actually casting an actress and adding this character in the show, just to add another black person to the show, because the industry doesn't like that. Let's just use the black woman we already have here just to save the budget and give her the freaking dragon, even though the books.
But wait, hold on, wait. What if they really make Rhaena fucking take Nettles' place and then it's
Yeah,
Damon's
that's
chicken heart.
incest. At the same time, that ain't surprising.
Nigga, they are
Anyway.
Targaryen. I'm just saying. What if they really if they really make Rhaeno like Nettles and fucking Damon's all of a sudden he's like, I like that.
No,
You look like your mama.
no.
Crazy.
No.
Disgusting. Oh my.
R.I.P. Nettles though. But Nettles was black already though.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say this though.
But that's adding another actor.
But it is confirmed that after actually today, they announced that this series will be, or this storyline will conclude in 4 seasons, which I think is a mistake. They actually told that in terms of the character of Nettles, for book readers, the showrunner just said wait for it. So, but what you're giving me, I'm like,
wait, then the dragon that looks exactly like sheep.
Exactly. Right. It's not like Raina gonna be handing off that dragon off to that Nettles.
Or maybe she dies. Or maybe she dies, but the dragon lives. And
I am tired of black women being burnt in this damn show. I don't want they're burning our black women, taking our dragons. I'm sick of it.
Six Smoke had to go find a black man. He had to find a white man and then go find a black one. Like, listen, how dare you show me this white man? I'm gonna smoke him and then I'm gonna go find me one.
No, but can we also talk about how they are both giving us like all this black love by having all these black characters, not actual black love, but they're also still reminding us that black men cheat. Black men cheat and they do not like taking care of their kids. Crazy. Look at the narrative the white man's putting on you black men.
So.
Listen, Tyler Perry was probably featured in this damn episode. I don't know, as a writer. Like, seriously.
I ain't gonna lie, Alan remind me of my mom. And
did y'all fuck with the Damon character arc or no? I guess is my real question.
Most people found it boring, and I kind of admitted it too. After a while,
see, I think I liked it more now that we came to the end of this.
I liked the Damon arc.
Yes. I I'm just talking about people in general. I was okay with it.
I enjoyed it actually.
Helena, so I'm gonna. I wonder. Well, I'm sure we can talk about that a little bit, but I was just wondering.
This is another thing
not
in
the
my
character arc that he had in the books, but I don't hate it. Surprisingly enough.
Alan remind me of my mom, and Adam remind me of my auntie with their father. They're like, 100%, like with my mom, like, oh, you ain't never try to like me, you don't try to like me now, don't try to do me no favor, don't call me, don't do none of that. You didn't like me before you rock me. My auntie was like, hey, listen, we can get a relationship.
No, low key. I think that's my mom and aunt too, for real. When I think about it, that is my mom and aunt too.
And my auntie like, hey, listen, you want to slide me some money? You can slide me some money. You feel bad. You know
what was the song? Smiley, what have you done for me lately? Was it that?
Right. What have you done for me?
I know what
lately?
you used to do for me. What you done for me lately?
I was real glad that he stood up to him, and you know I liked it because right. But see, we lost him getting checked and being reminded of his not just his duty as like the head of Driftmark, or whatever, but you know, all these other things that he needed to do as a man. We lost that when we lost Rhaenys. So I was glad that his son stepped up and was like, nah, you're not about to, respectfully, fuck you. That's really what he said. He was like, I don't want any help from you. Like, I'm gonna do my duty as a man because this is who I am. But I don't need you for anything. You've been gone this whole time. Stay gone. And I respect that because I already told you I'm a grudge holder. When we got beef, we got beef forever.
He's got 7 fishing ships. He's got a whole little, I mean, it's not Driftmark, but it's not like he's just some destitute guy. He started out with 1 ship and busted his ass till he had 7. So I can definitely, I can see that the feeling of insult with Corlys coming in and being like, and
I got this myself, dog.
Yeah, but like he literally started from the bottom.
No, you made a good point. I just think the frustration of it is, and I think it's not even with this character, but a lot of other characters in the show where there are a lot of things that are kind of dragging on to the point where it's like completely unnecessary. Like we can get to this episode with the Lannister BS.
Wait, you didn't like that? You didn't like the Lannister Tyros? I like
it. I like the old girl.
Okay, that's good. Is that good? Listen, is it good for the final episode? Is it good for the final episode?
No, that could have been the episode before.
I think it's a good.
That should have been the last episode. The one before
But
this
you
one,
got, but you got to remember, they did shorten the season by 2 episodes.
Yeah,
The first season was 10 episodes. This season was only 8.
And I think they're gonna bet like next season or next 2 seasons, they're gonna learn their lesson. Like, no, we gotta do 10 because I think a lot of things would probably been saved if they definitely just kind of cut this part out or a few things.
How do you guys feel about how forward thinking the Tyroshi and Miranese and Lysine are? They're very forward thinking. They respect pronouns. Do they not? Do they not? Did they not call him? Did they not call him him?
Oh my gosh!
They called him him. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying.
They called him.
I also like that the Tyroshi people had blue hair, even though we couldn't. For some reason, we couldn't.
Yeah, right. I was like, that's different.
No, but that's the way it was supposed to be in the books, and they didn't want to do that with Dario Naharis and Game of Thrones proper for some reason. But now they're like, oh, we're fine with putting the blue-haired Tyroshis out there now. Just not the most popular Tyroshi that's been written. We won't have him correct. Because that nigga be changing his hair color. He's like a bitch, yo. That shit was blue one time. Then it was purple in the books. I'm pretty sure he had a spell where it was green.
He is no longer allowed to do what he did right before we started this show. Right before we start this show. That you saved that for Wednesdays, sir.
Mike, what you saying?
Families may be watching this show.
Shout out to Tyroshi Sellsword.
No, but yeah, I just felt like, okay, like with the whole Lannister thing, they definitely could have, put that in a previous episode just to get for him to access those number of men, for the army and everything like that. But I just think for this episode, we were just kind of a lot of things that are far more important that need to be addressed, and I think for some people's frustration. Also comes with a little bit of uncertainty because we didn't know what the conclusion of the story was going to be. We thought, oh, this is only going to do 3 seasons, right? And they're like, you're going to do 4? And at this rate, how they ended this episode to me.
I see how they're setting it up, though.
Well, no, I see how they're setting. I literally see where basically, I don't want to spoil for book readers, but like they're going to reach the end of part of season 3 where we're going to have a very impactful, like, almost a death per episode event. Almost, if they're doing 8, it can probably be average at least 2 deaths per episode. But then you're gonna get to season 4, and then it's gonna be like that belly fat meat or whatever of the story.
I disagree.
The way they're spacing it out, season 4 is where you get the battle of the fucking. You get the big fight in season 4 if they do it.
Yeah, like I feel like we're gonna get one fight between Daemon and Aemon in 3, and I think we're gonna get the final in 4.
When they have the final fight, it's after everything's said and done because they talk about how Daemon's like, nigga, I ain't got nothing else left to lose, son. I'm ready to crash out.
You have lived for far too long, Uncle.
Yeah,
I agree.
That was.
Yeah, they're gonna give us that in 4. I'm not.
Uncle had lived for far too long. Seen too many.
But I do think season 3 is gonna be heavy battle,
is it only
and that's why I don't dislike the ending of this episode. I really actually enjoyed this episode. Because I felt like it gave us everything that we like really needed to know and kind of get out of the way. Some of the uncertainty with like if she was ever going to find the dragon. Okay, she found the dragon. We don't know what's going to happen next, but that's good for the build up for next season. We got it to where Rhaenyra actually knows where Daemon stands. We got to the point where Daemon has actually finally become a part of the Song of Fire and Ice. Like all of these different little things that I felt like we needed kind of somewhat closure before going into like straight up heavy battle. And I think that they did a good job at that. I think that they gave us what we needed to understand some of these characters a little bit more before we see what they do inside like the you can keep pulling it to the it was really good writing. I do believe that this episode had really good writing, especially the scene with Rhaenyra and Alicent. I thought that was excellent. I thought that what Baela said to Jace needed to be said before they get down and dirty. Like I felt like there was a lot of things that we did actually see a pretty solid resolution to prepare us to get ready to not really get as much of the story of these individual characters. We're going to get stories that are going to determine this battle. I love this episode, but I feel like they did the season finale last episode.
I get. Listen, the Vagar bitching out would have been a crazy season finale.
That would
I'm
have
not gonna lie.
But see, that was a good scene for us because we know Vagar and Aemon. But what would that really be? It was a good moment, but is that enough to say like, oh yeah, that's what we needed as a final episode? I wouldn't go that far. I feel like it was a good moment.
I think that's subjective, and I think that's fair with points you made, and I'm just teasing you. But like
it's fine.
I did enjoy like part of many moments of this episode. I know my wife is like, she was watching this and also on top of the boys. She just felt like we're just in these setup seasons and not really pay off. And that's what kind of frustrating for her. For me, I understand because I know the end game, because I know everything, the story and stuff. But with this, I like the terms of they're setting the seeds up of doing no seeds, pun intended, dragon seeds, but like Lily, the fact that they're laying the foundation for again big like losses in season 3. And then now knowing that it's gonna be a 4th season, the conclusion in season 4 to wrap and tie things up. Because I just like, to me, I'm like, but yesterday I thought, oh, this is only 3 seasons. It's gonna be a very, very rushed season 3, like almost season 8 Game of Thrones all over again. That's what I was worried about. But until today, when they announced the news that her season 4 is gonna be the final conclusion of this story. So I think my opinion in terms of how they're going to spread things out in the story, and also certain characters, which we now confirm that they are coming, when we thought yesterday, oh no, you're replacing this character with this one. So only time will tell, because I don't believe you.
They did it in Game of Thrones.
Well, and I agree.
Characters together left and right.
I agree with your wife though about the issue that I've always had with House of the Dragon, which I personally never felt like I had with Game of Thrones, and I could just be biased because I love Game of Thrones, and I've literally watched every season, all of it. Like I truly enjoy it, and I have rewatched from season 1 until season 8 at least 4 times. That's how much I love Game of Thrones. I had Game of Thrones party. I see fault in it, just like I see fault in stuff like the Attack on Titan finale. I see fault in it, but I'm not one of those people that looks at a final episode and be like, oh, well, you know what? I shouldn't have watched this for the past 10 years. I watched this show every Sunday for the past 10 years for a reason. In that episode, I had criticism, but was it enough for me to be like, you know what? I'm never going to watch this again, or season 8 don't exist. No, it just didn't go the way that I hoped for. And sometimes that just happens. That is how writing works. But that doesn't necessarily take away from all of the greatness that we got in seasons prior. Honestly, they could have flubbed 3. They could have flubbed 3 seasons if they wanted to. The story itself is solid, and clearly the fan base understands and loves something in it, because now we have House of the Dragon. But I brought that up because House of the Dragon, especially in season 1, I feel like we got to like episode 4 or 5, and it got so slow, and the pacing on it got bad to me. And I said that about the beginning of this season. The pacing, but I get that they're trying to establish multiple things and characters and yada yada yada, and I understand the process of it. But at some point, you also have to give the people what they want. You got to give us dragons. You got to give us fights. You got to get to the nitty gritty. And so I feel like that's why this season and the way that they've gone, especially in the last couple of episodes, was good, because now we get to focus more on some of the higher points of the story in season 3 and 4, where we don't have to sit there and break away from a big battle or shorten a battle so we can give some information about this one character. You know what I mean? We don't want to do that. And they've done that before, where we had battles in Game of Thrones where we were like, that should have been so much longer. The final battle is one that's a perfect example that we felt like that should have been at least like 3 episodes, like 2-3 episodes long for real. And it wasn't. Yeah. Because they wanted to put in all this extra fluff. And that was the character that's why I hated Alicent. Alicent's been teetering this line since season 1. basically, and it's just annoying. And that was one of the things that I disliked about the writing of her character, that she was just so she comes across so weak, like she just can't make a decision and stick with it, even though she started the BS in the first place.
Yeah. I feel like with that ending of the last season or this past season with that conversation with her and Rhaenyra, it just kind of flip floppy, because then we had episode 2 or 3 where they sat together and talked, and then Allison like, there's nothing I can do, and then here is Rhaenyra like, hey, I was gonna end this weeks ago, and
back
now
in the Sept, I was trying to call it coolsies then.
Right, exactly. So now all of a sudden you saw the monster you created, i.e. your son, and the one that's crippled, and stuff. And then you have the only saving grace is your daughter, who Helena,
I love that Aegon brought up his dick not working so much. So that was
I was glad too, honestly, because that's always a question that it's something that I wondered. Like, how damaged was he?
Real,
I thought that was interesting.
He said blew up like a sausage and pop. But
that reminds you that his character is still him. Like, I like that he asked for the drink this time. I like that he called somebody a cunt. All of these different things that I felt like
right.
Right. And so I'm glad that we didn't lose, that we showed that he's still not out of this game yet. And I think that because we've had these episodes where he was so broken and beaten and scared, and now he's speaking and acting like, you know what, I still want this, and you know what, maybe I won't give up.
Yeah, but you.
And I am still the named king.
He can't make an heir now. He can't make an heir now, and they.
No, he still has heirs.
He has heirs though.
He still have them.
No, but listen.
He said he can't make them no more.
He can't make any more heirs, and they got rid of one son, so he doesn't have any direct descendant heirs because fucking the little baby, that's a daughter.
But no. Yes, he does. I know what you're talking about. Yes, he does.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, the back.
Right, thank you.
Yes, he does. I was like, I know what you're going.
Thank you.
I forgot about the great baby.
That's. Hey, I do like Clubfoot was talking to him. He like, hey, I got this plan. We're gonna do this. He like, my dick blew up like a sausage. It's like I'm on fire. He was just talking to him.
I can't even piss without it running through my legs.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, we're gonna get on this thing and we're gonna go to Old Town, right? And we're gonna do all this
with the goat fuckers.
With the goat fuckers.
And then he was like, and we're gonna be here and we're gonna sit here and wait till they destroy each other. He like, I can't even piss down my leg.
Like, no, I'll have Aegon. I have Aemon come back and we'll try him for treason. Nope, he's going to kill you. Leave.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the man is so mad when that episode started and we saw like the whole area just destroyed. I was like, these Aemon and Daemon know that anytime something don't go their way, they will just randomly torment and burn down a whole large area of a population.
The poor Massies up at the hook.
Right. And the thing is, it's not that he lost. He didn't even lose. He just went there, assessed the situation, and was like, I gotta go. I gotta figure it out later. Like,
he was like, but I'm gonna burn this village on the way, nigga.
Right, because what the hell?
Allison called it to me like, hey, he had never lost. He never with Vagar. He never been scared to nobody. So then he saw 3 dragons. He got scared. And he got frustrated and just took it out like a child. As she said, like a child.
Because when he gets mad when he gets to that point, and he's always been like that because he was scared. He was weak. Well, I'm just saying, no, he was scared and he was weak, and he still has. No matter the fact that he has this big dragon. That is like a deep-rooted form of trauma. It's like when you see like men that just, or women that just take out different things, but they always, you think that they have all this power and then they throw a temper tantrum randomly. Like, that's how he is. He is always going to be that scared little boy. And anytime he is reminded that he is still the same little boy that lost his eye, that got bullied, that didn't get to be king, that wasn't loved from his father, anytime he feels like that, he's going to snap. And there's only a matter of time how many times that's going to work. And guess what? He about to meet up with the king of snaps. And we're going to see how that battle goes over the course of the show.
Yeah.
Read the book,
Right. And I think the fact for him is that because we have to remind the Aemon and them, they're still like 16, 15 years old, like at this age, which is like surprising to feel like seem like that way. But yeah, they're like
Yep,
60
because they
years
all
old.
look like they're 30.
Right, exactly. But I think
Well,
the part where
they
like
aged
he
them up
crossed the
into
line of
yeah.
grabbing Helena, because one thing that Eamon always had was respect or dignity in terms of his family. Even then when it came to like Aegon had no respect for his duties or even to Helena, whatever, right? But Eamon, yeah, still like, hey, listen, if I was married to Helena, we would still fulfill our duties and everything, duties to the realm, and that's what we're supposed to do. But then to the fact of like, oh, now Rhaenyra got these dragons and everything. Now he's losing all this power. He's like, Helena, we need to go and do this. And in fact, he's grabbing her, and the mother looking at him. It's like that's where a part feel like he's crossing the
Yeah, but
line.
they've changed Helena's
I agree.
character again, because in the book they talk about fucking Helena. They talk about how Helena is nice on a dragon, and like in this, they're like, oh, she's not built for a dragon. She's not meant to. And I was like, that's good. The complete, but also,
too, so you
yeah, but I was gonna say she's
dragon.
also like starving
They
herself.
needed a
by
reason to
looking
make her
at
can't
the
ride a
book.
dragon. They had to make a reason for her not to ride a
Yeah.
dragon, because in the book she was just batshit, so she couldn't ride a dragon.
Well,
Yeah,
and
but she
something
was
that I
nice
was
on a
thinking.
dragon back in the day before she went crazy, though.
Yeah, that's
You
the
want to know
difference. So
something
you
that
gotta
was
make
really
like-
nice to see this episode was that, well, it was interesting to see because you know how you watch stuff and you analyze it, especially when we do stuff like reviews, and you see it and you get
Yeah.
it, but then like when you like later on you start thinking and it's like even deeper than you would saw it. And so that's kind of how it was for me with the fact that Rhaenyra now has 3 new dragons, and we're just thinking like, especially when Clubfoot was talking to Aegon, and he says, what are you gonna do if you get rid of your brother and his dragon? And then I was thinking, I'm like, when it came to Aemon, he just straight up decided that he was gonna not only take out his brother, a dragon rider, but also a dragon. His sister doesn't ride. And so it was like, that just shows A, how much confidence he had, but B, still how immature he was to not think of the long term, because now he's scrambling because there are other dragons, and he knew that there were other dragons. I don't know why he didn't take into account that there was a possibility that she could find other dragon riders. He didn't think about that. And so now he has put himself in a horrible position, and he's running around mad because Rhaenyra got more dragons. No, you really mad at yourself because you took out a dragon rider and a fierce dragon over being crazy and being petty. So I thought it was cool because when he did that, I looked at it as a power play when I first watched it. I never, and like an opportunity, I never looked at it at the time of, this man is legit taking out a dragon and a dragon rider. Like if he takes them both, he's out both.
That's the first thing I thought, because
I didn't think about that.
In the books, it's way more. It's not. I was gonna say
they fell on the
like
dragon.
It's way more melees than Vhagar being involved at all, really, in that fight. So it's
Vhagar in the book, right? Vhagar fell on him, and then the dragon lost his wings. Right.
The battle at Rook's Rest wasn't a 2v1; it was a 1v1, and fucking they both just. So they changed it for the show that Vhagar was there, but this is supposed to be the true telling. I have to remind myself that, because the book.
As book readers, both of y'all, do y'all have? Because we talk about this when we see shows and stuff based off of. Well, no, that's not what I'm going to ask you. You know how like when shows or movies don't follow the source material, and as people that take in the source material, we're always bothered. When it comes to this season and the particular like detours that they've done from the books, do y'all like some of them? Do y'all not like any of them? Do you feel like it should be straight up like how the book is? Are you looking at some of these and you're like, no, I'm cool with that. Like I'm fine with that. Like how do y'all feel?
Those books are a little harder to do because they like little novelist things.
Nothing is too hard to make into a movie. Have you seen Avatar?
It's not set in a straight thing.
Anything can be done with time and modern technology.
House of the Dragons have a lot of leeway because the way the book reads. I would say.
Yeah, I would say the book being secondhand info makes it easier to.
But I will say, like with adaptations and stuff, they're not like in any form of comics, games or books or whatever. There's always level of adaptation and creative liberties you have to take because they're in different mediums and stuff. I think the problem, and you mentioned this funny thing with Avatar, how the fact of like where it's not that as a person where I'm like a loyalist to it, it's more like this is a foundation, right? The only point of you having an adaptation is to expand upon it, to actually give new reign or to maximize the impact the original adaptation had, and then think, oh wait, we can do something far more greater with this, but not the fact that we're trying to make something new for the sake of making it new, but actually we're just trying to maximize this point in a story or moment in this point of source material. Now, what we have seen consistently throughout this industry is the fact that now everybody we like to take liberties and everything because we want to be known. Hey, we did something original, right? Then instead of just making an original story, not using a actual book and everything that has a massive fan base, also great legacy of years of content and people who are so devoted to that story. So when you taking changes away from that, that's where you get the pushback. Now with anything, there's going to be pushback because this is the media that we're in. But with this show, I think there's points where they've been hit or miss with it. Now I'd say more hit than miss on terms of adaptation from the books. But for me, it's like, hey, listen, if you're able to go something different and expand beyond what the books are doing, or because sometimes the books would be more descriptive, but yet in the show, what we visually see is definitely more impactful when, like, for example, with Alice in the round table, and she's not speaking a word of dialogue, but yet the camera's slowly panning to her. The kiss between Rhaenyra and Meleys, that's her name.
No.
Sorry.
Mazari.
Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, but sorry, right? That was improv. Now, whether people like you or not, that's for another, debate on the show. But that was
I
still
loved it.
right. So
Just
that
throwing that
was
out there.
improv. That was improv. In that moment that it happened. So I think again, it's more of a you know, hit or miss in what terms of them making these changes. But for me personally, as a book reader, I'm not like, oh, this is the Bible and then you can't change nothing from it. Like, no, this is a book adaptation. If you're trying to make something new, is expanding what I've already have taken, or are you trying to create something new? Just say we're doing something original. I don't want that.
I was just curious to know if y'all were more leaning towards liking a lot of the changes or disliking some of them, or it's just kind of like 50-50, like it ain't gonna stop the show.
I don't think any of them have been too egregious. I think a lot of them have been like for the sake of time, like the sake of pacing. I feel like that's why, like in the early seasons in the earlier season with the time skip and everything, I feel like a lot of this is doing for pacing, just for pacing's sake. But there haven't been any major changes that I'm too. There's been a lot of like little character changes though that makes me wonder, like,
like Helena's character, perfect example, or
that's
Rhaena and the dragon. Like, those are things that are on a bit somewhat of a bigger scale.
Alice Rivers, it makes me wonder because the way that she's been portrayed about this, I don't know how she's going to react to certain people that she's going to come into contact. I don't think she's going to interact with them the same way she would in the book, just like on the basis of the way they've showed us her character. Like, I don't see her warming up to certain people that she did in the book at all, if I'm being completely honest, especially with her being this instrumental piece in fucking Damon, this Harrenhal character arc that I didn't hate. I started off hating it at the beginning of this season. I was like, goddamn werewood fucking beds fucking shit up. But I think it was necessary. I think the end goal, it showed like that Damon, even though he can't be the king, he realized that he's not going to sit the throne, but it also makes Rhaenyra realize that she's not going to inspire like armies the same way that Daemon inspires an army. Mm-hmm. Like you got to think, Viserys' whole life he spent fucking. Go back and watch the earlier episodes. Just him talking about the stepstones and him always having to deal with something with the stepstones. Daemon left for what a couple years, and fucking took over the stepstones. Was like, I'm the king of the stepstones. I know this shit's been bugging you for your whole reign, but I'm just gonna fly off and take care of it. But then I come back and give you the crown. I get back in good. Get to marry my niece. I mean, he worked it. Is all I'm saying. But this
Yeah.
is I think the Harrenhal character arc was better than I gave it credit for. I need to be more of a trust the process guy because I wasn't trusting the process. And in this ending, I was like, all right, I see what we did here, and I can respect it.
I do got a question I want to present because I
Which
got
is
two
good because
places.
you hate when they deviate.
So I do have a thing. Do y'all want to go with talking about Damon and Harrenhal, or do y'all want to go because Ebony did bring up both? My questions are what we think about the future because there's some things I think they hinted at that they not gonna do. They just hinted at it because it's something in the book. I think they might go another direction. They kind of hinted it. I believe a hint. I might be just picking. So which one y'all want to do? Y'all want to talk about Damon or the hints at the future and book references?
I've got like I said, I've got thoughts on the way certain characters act as to how they're gonna pull off some. Like there's gonna have to be some certain changes. So
Because I had that same thought too. So I want to know which one y'all want to go. Y'all want to go into Damon? Or y'all want to save that for the end, or do y'all want to save the?
We can save Damon for the end. I'm interested to hear the hints.
Okay. One hint I also think is gonna happen is I think they blatantly gave
Anytime
us.
he zooms in, I think he's doing that for his face.
Well, that's
part of the
that's
Damon arc, but it's also hints at something that I'm interested.
Well, no,
in the book.
that is blatantly Brendan Rivers. But like
Yeah,
there
we
ain't
know.
no that is blatantly the Blood Raven, blatantly the Three-Eyed, blatantly whatever you want to call him.
This is the one that interests me. This has been a common theme that this guy looks like Damon.
I don't think
people were dropping that on the internet recently, and I was just like, if they went that way, if for show purposes, as someone that had that's why I typically with certain stuff like this, I read to a certain point and then I stop. If this, like in the book, I know how it goes with that, but in this, for the show purposes,
north of the wall
but still for show purposes, I do think it would be kind of cool to make Damon the Night
because
King.
that would remind us of those last. No, we know
be the Night King, be the general.
No, I was say we know he's not the Night King. We saw that. We saw the
general. I think it would be cool though. I'm just saying.
The only thing with that.
Listen,
this is what I talk about, Tori. This is where I get this from, though. I said in the show they said he's going to die here in Harrenhal. That's what she said, and it showed him drowning in the lake. But I'm like,
well, I mean,
it also
we know how
him. Do they take liberties and be like, oh, we're gonna? It's him like the book said. The book said you're gonna do this.
The vision of him falling in the water is a little bit too spot on for the book, so you think they're gonna mix it up.
Also, they in the books is they never found his.
They never found his
body. Right. So that's what I'm like. I think
that's why they said
if they went that way, I'm cool with that, low key.
How would it look? How does it get from the God's Eye to north of the wall?
We get 2 more seasons though. We got 2 more seasons to work through that.
They said this how it was previewed to him.
Those bodies of water ain't even connected.
I know
there are no bodies of water once you go so far
as
the fucking
wild and
north.
crazy. And
they can do anything. That's writing. They can do whatever they want and somehow piece it together.
The only frustration I have watching that scene was like, all right, thank you for showing us that Jon Snow don't mean a damn thing. Because we're watching things like, oh, okay, yeah, so yeah, he's fucking relevant. All right, yes, again, other dragons and stuff. But if they do that, it's almost the same thing of like if you guys are in Star Wars, you're watching Star Wars Acolyte, how they showed like Darth Plagueis.
I'm not watching. Yeah,
at the end, and everyone was like, "Wait, what?" And that changes a lot of things. That's like a big figure.
Because how did the Wise survive? Please, I know we've destroyed Star Wars Legends canon. It doesn't matter.
But I'm saying aside from that, I'm just saying that would that be a interesting like detail to add there, the fact that it's Damon, because we never actually knew who the Night King was. Even the person that when we saw the Children of Force, put the create the first Night Walker or
Well, I
White
thought
Walker.
that was. I thought that was the Night. I thought the Night King was the first White Walker. That was, well, at least show wise. We don't know in the
Show
book.
wise, yes.
Show
Yeah,
wise.
show wise. That was he
But
was.
but we never found out who that first one was, and so that's why
Because
I'm
they
like,
said that he was part of the first men, and it was
time,
either a
yeah,
Targaryen or a Stark.
No, well, it would.
Yeah.
No, because you got to think if it in time of you got to think timelines. Time of the first men is way, but like that was all way before Aegon the Conqueror showed up. Because fucking Aegon the Conqueror showed up after. Because you got to think it was the Children of the Forest, then the first men, then the Andals, and then they existed for a few hundred years, and then the Doom of Valyria happened, and fucking the Targaryen.
But I always thought because he has white hair, like every time I saw that, even in Game of Thrones, I always felt like he was Targaryen. Like the White Walkers don't all have that hair, and so I feel like that was his natural hair, which would make him a Targaryen. But just like we talked about, why would a Targaryen be at the wall, like past the wall? But Daemon is the type of person that would.
This is my thing, though. Why would they show this image in this show? This is my thing. This is the image everybody has been using. Is Daemon possibly being a general?
I think they're trolling, bro.
But
they
could be trolling because people have been saying it.
I think they're trolling.
I think it's only to allude to the Aegon the Conqueror.
It just made it so it was a plot device to make it so Daemon knows the prophecy too.
Right.
That's why I feel like they had to show the Night King. They had to show the Night King, so you knew exactly the same story of the the White Walkers. You needed to see the White Walkers. So
they showed the general looked like Daemon.
Yeah, but listen, if they would have showed any of the other walkers without the blue-eyed White Walkers, it wouldn't have hit the same. Then you would have thought you was watching you would have thought you was watching the Walking Dead. That's what you would have.
We're picking the one that looked like Daemon, and we're gonna show y'all.
Yep. But guess what? Every white-haired general looked like that. It's either that or you showed a Night King.
But no, because you got to think there are any White Walkers that had hair, it was white.
No, that's not true.
Yes, that is true. You're thinking about whites. The zombies are not
the whites.
Walkers.
You're right. You're right.
You're right.
I was thinking about the whites.
I know you were. It's okay.
Because I was like, what the heck? Whoa. God, from Kami.
I'm holding you down, yo. What are you talking about?
I'm not old.
I won't let your age get the better of you while I'm on one.
I did want to talk about the God's Eye's death and the Daemon becoming the general, possibly, and they did not. And they said
how
they
did
never
his body get from the God's Eye to fucking north of the wall?
But you got to remember, they can. But why can't, as show writers that have certain liberties, why can't they create a reason why?
What if Daemon just ran away after he got stabbed and then he got stabbed?
Oh well, maybe. I don't know though, bro. I don't think that's. I honestly think they're.
That might just be some fun.
And I'm cool with them trolling, but I think it would still be really cool to see Daemon become a White Walker, because I think that just adds a little bit of depth to the White Walkers from Game of Thrones.
No, Daemon needs to be dead, because if Daemon's not actually dead, then there's just so much fucking of George R.R. Martin's lore that just doesn't fucking, because the period after the fucking Dance of the Dragons is done is like fucking a super formative period. It's the Targaryen reign trying to sustain itself post dragons, you know what I mean? So,
but we've watched Daemon give up before, so
no, but we literally just gave this nigga a whole season's worth of a character arc. I don't think they put all that into the writing to toss it, and fucking him being a White Walker would be tossing it. Like he
wouldn't have a choice if he just happened to run away.
We also know that White Walkers tend to go for babies. Aside from the Night King, he was the only. I'm pretty sure he was the only one that was made like an adult. The rest of them, like he was taking babies from wildlings and turning them. So I'm just saying, but they can do what they want. I just don't think it's needed. Like the ending to Daemon's story. Yes, I know his body was never found, but a lot of niggas' bodies were never found. Fucking
right, true.
Fucking
By the way, when that scene happened, if they do it like the book, that scene
Luke's
gonna be
body was
cool as
never
hell.
found. Fucking
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Lenore's body was never found.
It's gonna be great if they do it like the books.
I did think about it though in this episode. I'm pretty sure this episode is the first ever in all of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragons that we actually got to see a live action Tyros. Like we've seen people from Tyros, but we've never actually like seen it. And I don't know how I feel that the first thing we really saw of it was a monkey. Like we know that yes, black people they come from Tyros in the summer isle. I'm aware, but that we need the Reese's monkey just coming through. I was like, oh yeah, we're shout out to the Tyroshi that niggas dyeing their hair and got monkeys and shit, yo.
Since this is a season finale episode, I do want to talk about this.
But I just thought it was cool. I thought it was cool that because we've got to see like Marine, Astapor, fucking. We didn't really get to see Lisa all like that, but fucking. We got to see Marine and fucking all these other. We didn't really get to see Tyroshi. And like it's cool seeing like the wider parts of Essos because low key Essos is a lot bigger than Westeros. So
I like that. I feel like this House of the Dragon is doing something a little bit differently than Game of Thrones, where I feel like they're delving into like the dark, like the darker, not just the darker tones, but the visuals are pretty on par with like stuff that you would see in horror. And I felt like in Game of Thrones, the only thing that you really had to fear were the White Walkers, so they would freak you out and stuff. But seeing
the torture scenes too.
Yeah, but and
then, like that makes everybody uncomfortable. So that's
right,
torture,
right. But but I look at torture and stuff and shows differently than straight up horror. Because there's a whole genre where there's like gore and stuff like that. But I mean,
but I think
horror.
I feel like they evoke the same emotion though at the core of it. You know, I think that feeling of uneasiness, you just get it. You get it from
right. I do feel like you get the uneasiness from both, but I do believe that you get a little bit like we have jump scares and stuff that are just genuinely scary.
Think about it. How did you feel about the Sansa Ramsay Bolton shit? Like in the moment of watching it,
it was a lot.
Like, it made you feel nasty. You were like, ugh, that's
definitely. Like, heck, everything he did to Theon, like there were so many different points that were.
So I mean,
he did, and I'm glad because how things ended for him because I feel like he had some of the best character development of everyone on the show.
It also it reminded me though when Aegon talked about his fucking dong blowing up, yo. It made me think about remember when fucking Ramsay was teasing Theon with the fucking sausage and fucking.
Yep, it made me think of that too.
I was like, listen, if you lose your dick, somebody's gonna make a joke about it in this universe.
While they're eating a piece of sausage, always.
It's always gonna happen.
It's always gonna have a sausage reference.
Call back to Tywin being called Tywin.
Yes.
So I
no, but I think that should be.
So I do want to say that the character was not trans in the book, but I feel like in Essos, even in the book, I don't feel like they care either way. Like,
but see, let me also tell you that I think that that's how things should go in the world. You know, we wrestle it out and we just try and it's a death battle per se or something. And if you win, not a death battle, obviously, but whoever wins, like if you beat me, then you get to smash and I get to have your kids. Like, that's it. Like, just straight up fight. Because there's a lot of people that I would love to just knock upside the head, but domestic violence is not okay.
Lose the game.
But if that is how we get to the next step by having a straight up one-on-one in some mud, let's go.
But I do like that.
I think that's cool.
Because this next season, even if we're gonna have to wait,
it's good for the skin.
If we're gonna have to wait, even if we're gonna have to wait 2 years for this next season, this is gonna be a fighty season. Like,
it's gonna be pure fighting next season. I bet you that out of if we get 8 episodes, we're gonna get at least 5 that have major battles.
Christian Cole dies, they're gonna make everybody.
I mean that.
Let me tell you something. I feel like they've kept Christian this whole time. I think he gonna make it at least to season 4.
Yo, my man been so sad the whole season. He saw a dragon burn up a city. He said, "Man, you know what? I don't even
Fuck
care no more."
life. You don't even care no more.
He like, you had sex with my mom. He like, so what? We all have sex with somebody. Dragons gonna kill us all anyway.
No, I have friends like that. Like when they say if the zombie apocalypse happened, they're like, "I'ma just take me out." I have friends that will just straight up
My
say
man, like,
that.
you ain't
We
seen
ain't
the
gonna have to worry
dragon,
about
dog.
no
The dragon
zombies,
gotta kill
Joe.
him.
It's gonna be nuclear
Hey,
fallout.
I live in Florida. Remember, we've had a zombie.
Yeah, once the nuke hit and some of them Florida people.
Yeah, I was gonna say the new. Listen,
I seen a
if
man
it's
in
not,
Miami eat a man face off and been taking baths.
Because I
off.
was like, we have zombies. That's what I was referencing in Miami.
yeah, believe me, we know the Florida Chronicles.
On the bath salts. Bath
I saw that man
Them
shot.
them
They shot
niggas,
that man 10 times. He was
look,
still running toward the
if there's
police.
one thing,
Right.
if there's two things that's in fucking Florida, it is drug-induced zombification and goddamn PDF file trailer parks. Florida's got them.
We actually have a lot of opium rings too, like opiate.
I did
rings.
do a story in
and
Florida.
pill
I'll be
mills.
that news.
Mad
I'll be that
We
mad
got a
pill
lot
mills.
of pill mills.
Mad pill mills in Florida.
No,
too.
I found out one day that like when I lived on the north side, when I lived by my people, I literally ran up the street. It used to be like a realtor's office, and then it changed into something else. And you never knew because they didn't have any signs like on the outside, really, but there were always like cars there. Found out later on there was a pill mill.
Yeah.
Had a major bust.
It's all legal, but damn.
No, this one was not legal.
Oh well,
this was very illegal.
I'll be that news, and like they said, they found 1,000 a whole child wrangling ring of 1,000 people in Florida. I said, what the? I did a story on that.
I told you gotta think they have whole trailer parks that are
the fastest man in the world is from Florida.
SOs.
He was born in Gainesville and moved to Virginia.
But he is a Floridian. He's born in Florida.
Tell him he ain't.
And guess what? Because there's something in the water. The minute you're born in Florida, no matter where you go,
cocaine.
You always got that deep inside you.
No, I don't think it's cocaine.
That might be. You got that cocaine water in Florida. You get the milk.
Listen. I think it's a little more complex than that. I don't know what it is, but it makes them impervious to humidity and alligator teeth, and fucking it also makes them extremely aggressive. But I've also heard that you have to like shoot them more than once. So
what are we talking about? I just came back and all I heard was shooting.
We're talking about the two traitors.
Oh, I thought we were talking about how hard it is to kill Florida niggas.
Oh my God. Okay. So no, but before we go, you said there was something else that you wanted to talk about.
We got to see Tatharion at the end of this episode.
The other thing is the two traitors. I want to know how it's a little different than in the.
But we know who the two.
I know, but the show. I think we got a different reason why they're going to betray you.
No, I feel like we're still getting to the. No, I think we're still going to get the same.
They're going to do it, but I'm saying
Jason. I think Jason's going to be a far more like he's going to be like
he pissing off and Off trying to just like, hey man, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, but Ulf also acted different from think when he was in there. He was like, "Oh, the rightful heirs don't have silver hair either, fucking." And then when he's actually meeting them, oh, we're cut from the same cloth. We're bastards.
Yo, and Baylor's the only one trying to hold it down. He's like, "Listen, you gotta stop."
Hey, but Baylor even. Listen, the problem with the blacks is even though they're trying to do everything for the small folk, they can't help but still hold themselves higher. Even when Bayla talks to fucking Jay, she's like, "We are not common, okay? We're better than them. We're not the common folk." I think it's going to lead to the same, like the switch up is sort of like the blacks are still fucking Targaryens at the end of the day, and Targaryens are who have oppressed the small folk. And if you get something that puts you on equal standings, why wouldn't you flip if you've been oppressed your whole time?
Especially when the other one desperate, they might give you more. You know what I mean? One might be a little desperate when the situation happened, and he's like, "Hey, you need me."
Yeah, but I mean.
If you read the book, you understand more.
Yeah, but you got to think there's also some like with Sunfire being dead, it changes how some later fights like
Yeah, has to.
progress. With Sunfire actually being dead, if he is actually
You
dead.
think this? I still want to know, even though this is a spoiler. I wonder is it gonna be true? Is Uff just gonna be so drunk that he just gonna miss his death?
I mean,
They
listen,
wake up, you
I
died,
thought
dog,
about
and you was supposed to go. What? Oh shit!
damn. But
Damn, they
Ulf
trying
is
to get me.
I like the guy that's playing Ulf. I think once because they change a lot after that, like those first bouts of combat. You know what I mean? So I'm sort of intrigued to see how the characters, because like in the ending shots, we get to see them fucking suited up.
Suiting up.
You get fucking Hugh Hammer wearing the bronze of Vermithor, and then fucking because Alan's one of Corliss Bastards, you get like the fish scale looking armor on him, and then it's very poetic that Ulf gets sort of like the same like Targaryen base pendant like Jay wears, so it's sort of it's all little seeds being.
That's your Uncle Jay. Show respect.
Yo, that's crazy to think about it. Like no, I mean, yeah, technically, even though since we're just making apparently King Jaehaerys is out here fucking on bitches now, which is crazy. That nigga would have never done that in the book. He was a very good king. Niggas didn't fight underneath good King Jaehaerys. They can call that nigga the good king for no reason. You don't get a name like that for no reason. He wasn't out here fucking on prostitutes. That was one of his. All of his kids were legitimate. God damn it.
Tell that to you.
He legitimized all of them motherfuckers, yo. And that's why they all ended up killing each other so much to the point where he had to go get his neck. Because you got to remember, Jaehaerys was Viserys and Daemon's grandfather, not their daddy. He was their grandfather. Their dad just ended up dying in the succession war, and it got to the point where he could either put his daughter on the throne or one of his grandsons, and he was like male succession. And that's how the queen that never was became the queen that never was. She survived all her brothers just to be took out by their seed. Cold game. Shout out to the patriarchy, though.
Oh my gosh.
But we can now get into what everybody want to talk about, and it's my boy Dreams. My boy went in the guy's weed. We finding out. Well, I just say something, but he found out took the tree. He went in the tree and had this vision. Did
you guys know that the face that's carved into that werewood tree is George R. R. Martin?
No, I didn't.
That's
the more you know.
I'd say that. Just thinking about him putting his hand all
face
on
it like a mold.
Face. Yeah.
He's going George R. R. Martin's face, like, hey, God.
Yeah.
This is where the real Jedi stay. I just didn't have time to write it.
God's eye, of course.
You gonna see Luke Skywalker. but yeah, he sees it. We see the white. We kind of talked about it already, and then all of a sudden we see
Brendan Rivers, the Blood Raven.
We see the.
It's going to be very important coming into because next year we're getting the Hedge Knight. So, I mean, they're calling it something different, but it's still the story of Dunk and Egg at the end of the day. They're calling it like a tale of a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I think that's what they're going to call it. I don't know why they wouldn't just call it the Hedge Knight, though.
Yeah, and then we see Daenerys and all the dreams of the future. He saw the Song of Fire and Ice. And we see that the Tully. We saw earlier in the episode that missed. What's his name? Which one his name was? The one that I don't care about. He's trying to convince. I had the name written
Simon
down.
Strong. Sir Simon Strong.
No, not Simon Strong.
Oh,
the other one.
Did you guys see Simon at the end when fucking Damon was giving the speech to the men? This nigga just clapping in the background like this. I died. I laughed for like fucking 15 minutes straight. Just from
Sir Alfred
clapping in the background.
I was so glad Sir Strong wrote Rainier. I was like, goody.
Sir
the minute
Alfred.
She said, when she said, Adam, come with me, I was like, all right. Yeah. She going to see Damon.
She had a backup plan too. That's why she told him to come. Hey, listen, and
Uh-huh.
Okay,
he know how
because
to fight.
she's like,
He
she's
gonna
like,
be
I ain't.
shot when he get his backup.
And I love when she walked in and then her dragon just was like, "So what's up, peeps?" Like came on the inside. I was like, "This is good." It was a
And
great shot.
it's smart
That,
because like she know if Damon is battle tested, so I'm gonna have to shock you with another dragon if
oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna,
because
you gotta
Mhm.
if we're gonna be completely honest, Rhaenyra and Cyrax don't want to fight Daemon and Caraxes.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-mm.
There's no
So she
dragon
going
rider that
so
really wants to fight Daemon and Caraxes. That's just not.
so her plan was gonna always be to shock him with another dragon right out of nowhere. Because I don't know if they know yet that she has another dragon. Even though
He doesn't, I don't
Sir
believe.
Alfred was telling us she was planning it. So that's
Yeah,
what he
but
was
he had
saying.
already went through the vision quest, so he was gonna bend the knee anyway. So
Yeah, but I'm just talking
Mhm.
about
didn't
in
have to
case. I'm
worry
just
about.
talking about her playing in case because she was told
Yeah,
by one of the tellies. My favorite when he
yeah.
betrayed Damon. He
Yo,
betrayed him.
hey, did you see how
So
quick he left?
strong.
It's a
Did you see
strong
how quick
betrayal.
he left after the fucking shit? He bounced out. He didn't celebrate when everybody else was
Oh, you
celebrating
talking
his
about
death.
the guy that tried to get him to turn?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
golden.
watched him during that scene too.
Oh, that's
When
Sir
he had to
Alfred.
bend the knee,
Sir
he was
Alfred.
like,
He
I
was the
was the
last
minute he
one
did that, I
down.
said, I hope Rhaenyra beheads you for treason.
Now
I
my
really
boy got
do.
out there because if Damon say one word, the old boy over there trying to get me to betray you. I ain't say nothing.
Oh yeah, it's done.
Right, it's over.
He got the fuck out, so he didn't think about it. Oh, you don't remember seeing me? I wasn't here.
I know I told you you should declare for yourself and just sort of like make hair, but listen, I understand she's your wife, rightful heir and whatnot. You
We need
respect
a
that now
we need a
after having the
man.
crazy. One thing I'm wondering though, and I can't stop thinking about this, yo. How is Alice Rivers gonna? This Alice Rivers that they've given us is so different from the books. I don't think she fucks with fucking Aemond when she shows up like they say she does in the book. I don't think she fucks with him at all, yo. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think we're gonna get like Aemond with his Witch Queen of Harrenhal. I don't think because like she was a little too instrumental. Like this whole her interacting with Daemon on this extensive period did not happen in the books. Like this Vision Quest was not a thing that was. But I don't know. I'm intrigued to see. It kind of sucks. We'll have to wait 2 years, but I mean, whatever.
Whatever.
I
It'll
do
fly
want to give a
by.
shout out to Jedi Mike. He said his power went out.
Oh man. I'm surprised. Technically a hurricane came through here today. But I got
Yeah,
power.
but
Was it?
that's
What was it?
regular shit
Debbie?
for Florida, though,
What's it
ain't it?
called?
Yeah, like I said, my power never went out all day, and I even went to UPS.
You probably got a generator, anyways.
I actually do, but that's
I
not the
know.
point here.
So she got the
You should
big
just have a
generator. The
Most
big ass
people in
motherfucker.
Florida have a generator. What are you talking
So
about?
she got the
I
big one though. She got like the
I
one that
was,
can fold
I
the
was say
houses. The
it
one that you
ain't
can plug
the
in the whole
regular old
house at once.
kerosene joint, yo. It ain't the regular old
Like
kerosene
them corporations
gasoline.
had to make sure all the Amazon got they make
That
sure all
shit
the
got
workers stay to
backup.
work.
It got backup batteries and shit. Probably got solar panels somewhere on it. Fucking nasty,
It
but
doesn't. It's just a generator that sits in the garage.
Yeah, stack.
I was gonna say that motherfucker probably nice as hell.
Why do you keep turning on me, Zelme? See, this is why we can't
No,
be
cause he
friends.
sees it. Cause he sees it.
Cause me and Kami, we can go back and forth. I can handle it. But then you co-signing
Tori
every
No,
five
cause he,
seconds.
Tori is convincing. I'm sorry. You know he's convincing.
How did Tori convince you of my life?
He's he wrote your
no,
story and he
you
convinced me.
got
How he wrote
you
my
gotta just
story?
say.
I'm older than him by quite a bit.
No, I'm telling you, he put it out a way that
Listen,
it's kind of
look.
believable.
Have you ever been to Lost University? Do you know how quantum mechanics work? Okay.
Here we
Let me
go.
tell you something about no, that would be
Here
crap.
we go.
Listen, I have been watching an extensive retrospective on Lost, so it's been like sort of it's been background noise while I've been getting my Pokemon team right here lately. So
That's why
time
tomorrow I'm gonna re-download Pokemon Go,
that shit's so trash.
and I'm gonna just send you screenshots every time I level up or catch a shiny Pokemon.
Joe will be excited. He gonna join Team Mystic again with you.
That's so nasty, bruh. It's so fucking disgusting. I don't even want to think about it.
I do want to put my boy on the show. His power went out, so I do want to
Bunch of
show his
filthy
color.
casuals trying to fucking
So
conversate with
before
me
we get
about
out of here,
fake
let's
stats
rate
or
the
something.
episode.
6.5.
6.5. Wow. Okay.
I
I
like
go,
this. I
I
liked
go,
it,
I
but it
go,
felt
I
it
go
didn't feel like
7.
a filler season. It made it feel like a filler season to make me excited for the next season, which I expect to go all
Wait, so
out.
are you giving a 6 to the season or the episode?
The episodes
Okay, now give one for the season. If 6
seven,
is your episode,
seven and a
what's the
half.
S season? 7.5. Interesting. What about you, Kami?
I,
What do you
I,
grade the season and then the
the
episode?
episode, I give it a solid 7. I understand people not liking it because it wasn't like as dramatic as you'd think a season finale should be. I like it was sort of like an exposition point. They set up a lot of shit so they can get right into it the next season. I respect that. Um, so yeah, I'd say like a 7 for the episode. As far as the season, 7.5, maybe 8. I don't know. I felt some type of way about them cutting it down by 2 episodes at the beginning, but like seeing the way they paced it out, I feel a little better about it. So I'll go 8.
Yeah, for me with the episode, I was going with a 7. And I agree with you, Kami, that I would probably go about an 8 with the season as a whole. The I didn't like that we were only having 8 episodes as well. But I felt like for what we got in those episodes, I was satisfied. And obviously, I'm gonna tune in for next season, so I can give it an 8 as well.
I'm expecting next season to be a 10. But like, I'm gonna bring up Jedi Mike. Shout out to him when he said the Tyler Lannister stuff felt like it could have came earlier. It was random to put in a season finale when he was finishing things. We barely even heard him going over there. We just
No,
like
but
they kind of.
like I said, I like that though because we've never got to see a live action Tyros before, and there's honestly not too many fucking times in like these shows that they're doing, like in those timelines where you'd even have a chance to show it at any other point in time. So maybe yeah, they could have showed it earlier, but even with it being at the end, I just think it's super cool whenever we can see this world at large more. Take me to the Shadowlands next. Who knows?
I'm with it.
But is everybody thoughts? Anything y'all want to get in before we go? Felt like there's a lot of closure to this episode to a lot of things that were hidden from, like I said, Christian Cole to Alan, in which they had the whole season him trying
How
to
you
give us
guys
stuff.
feel about Alicent subtly agreeing that Aegon should be dead after her whole starting this back in the day was her fear that Rhaenyra was going to kill her children, and that
I
that
I
that
actually liked it because I
I
felt
did too.
like we're starting to see some real character
Because you got
development
to
in
think though
Allison.
that conversation that we saw that never happened in the book. They tried to arrange a meeting, it did not happen, and it just sort of. But also the conversation that they had sort of frames why Allison is talked so bad about in the book, like why she's seen. Rhaenyra tells her like, "Oh, they'll see you as the villain after this," and fucking it really sort of explains why in the book, like it harped on like Allison is bad.
Hmm.
So
No, I thought that this was the first time these last couple of episodes. That's why I thought last episode with her was good as well. I feel like we finally hit a turning point with her, and now we're seeing true character development out of her.
she's free,
Who
yo.
she's well, almost.
Almost.
Almost. We you never know what could happen. So, but I like that because now I feel like we're getting something outside of her just being a straight up hypocrite. I like that she was able to realize kind of, you know what, just like Zelme said, the switching of positions where now she understands why Rhaenyra kind of was the way that she was, and
As a
and
woman
that
deposed of power herself now.
exactly. And so I feel like she is being able to kind of grow from that and understand, you know, the way the world works, like the same world that you were trained to be in, you never truly understood how it worked, especially to be a woman in power. So I really enjoyed that actually.
Yeah, I thought it was great character growth. It showed the full circle from the beginning of first, like I said, her
The
being
writing
the
for it was good.
from her being the babysitter who was teaching her, and she like, I don't want to learn none of this bush. I just want to ride my dragon. And she's like, no, we have to do these duties. Now I don't want to do no duties. Listen, you can kill my son. I just want to be free from this shit. And then she admitted what we said in the show. And I like that. I love that because she was like, I was jealous of you. I ain't gonna lie. Your freedom to do what you want and not have to worry about all this bullshit. I was jealous of you my whole life. And I'm like, I felt that. Hey, listen, sometimes you gotta just, that's part of growth. When you grow, you realize, hey, I was in some bullshit. But
No, I agree.
any final thoughts? And if not, you can get final thoughts while we going out. Africa.
Of course, you. My final thoughts are that like, yo, when you inbreed, like,
Here we go.
family discourse is like inevitable. I feel like so. Like,
Honestly, that's facts though.
learn from the Targaryens. Let them be the jumping off point. I also want to say shout out to the Starks and shout out to Cragen Stark for keeping it real. He told that nigga he ain't have nothing but graybeards for him, and all them Stark niggas was old as hell that pulled up. I did notice that. I was like, he told him. He's like, I ain't got nothing but graybeards, nigga. And then it was just a whole legion of old niggas from the north that showed up, which is fire. But of course, you can find me at AfroComedy765 on all platforms. Of course, here for casual conversations on Wednesday, right after the Blurred Cartels roundtable. Of course,
if you want to
Friday
play
night.
spades, just say that.
Yeah, no, I don't do stuff like that. I do though. But of course, you can find me on Friday. You can find me on Friday night. You're talking about wrestling. Make it make sense. Talking about whatever. You know the vibe. Something flagrant. Something inflammatory. I got some Pokemon to find too.
And I'm your girl, Ebony Moonbeam. You can find me at Ebony_Moonbeam on all social media platforms. I'm a cosplayer. I'm creator of Anime for Dummies, where I teach people a bit of anime knowledge, terminology, stuff like that. You can also find me on Wednesdays at the Blurred Cartels Roundtable as well. And then right after, right here on Keep It 99 for casual conversations with these two, being wild and crazy per usual. This week's going to be a crazy episode. You can also find me on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time at Waifu Views, on the Waifu Views podcast, where it is a female blurred-led podcast giving you everything fandom with a side of waifu, me, and two other beautiful hosts. And you can also find us on Waifu Views at all social media platforms.
Let's go. And it's your boy, Laughs I Made. And I'm about to make a name for myself here. We out. Peace. I love y'all. Cherish y'all. Everything. Do everything great. Live your greatest life. Be the best you. Leave all that hate in 2024. Tell them, Joe Budden. We out.